here, but I only see one chat message. Say hi. What's up? We're about to get started in just a bit. Start in just a bit. Getting started soon. 40 seconds. Just waiting for the chat to fill up. To be honest, feels nicer. I hope you have interesting questions. Let's get started. Welcome to the session. What's up, Smith? What's up, Aditya? Hey, Warni. What's up? Hey, Sainath. What's up, Meha? Good to see you all here. Tonight, we're going to be doing a design Q&A. But before we do that, let me show you all something, okay? I specifically used this camera today so I can show you this. I'm literally breaking the stream wall here. So this is the designer Christmas tree. Last Christmas, I made a this deal about this, which is designer Christmas tree. I put a bunch of designer ornaments on it. I don't think I have all of them this time. You can see there's this Supreme card here. I got that from the New York Supreme store. There's this little gold Lego here. In fact, last year's tree also had my old airport and here. So even had airport. I do have actually Figma related, if I'm not wrong. So I have this Lego here. This is the rose Lego. I had to assemble that. Of course, I'm in Denmark, so here's the Danish flag. Yeah, I don't know what my here. This is from Budapest. This is me and Ghana, literally. This is Lego people. Yeah, that's the tree. We switch back to my. You guys couldn't hear that, but just wanted to show you the tree there. Yeah, guys, my audio wasn't visible. I mean, it wasn't audible. But basically, what you just saw here, okay? No worries that you didn't see it. I'll show you right now. What you just saw here was my designer Christmas tree. And what do I mean by designer? I had a bunch of designer ornaments that I tried to figure out that I can put here. It's okay that you didn't hear me. You saw it though. And I'll just show you what I was talking about. I'll just quickly show you guys what I was talking about, okay? So check this out, guys. This was my designer Christmas tree from last year. It's a different tree though. I really did a Figma on it. You saw the Pantone, you saw the airport. Anyway, I really do need a Figma ornament. I don't have one. But yeah, that's the tree this year. It's definitely not the same tree. The way it works here is you actually go out and you actually buy a tree. So bought this tree. That's our Christmas tree for this year. Yeah, guys, mic too far. Cool. So folks, we can start with some design Q&A. You know, I'm just going to switch on this feature that keeps following me. And stage. Woo! What a zoom out effect. Welcome to our stream today, folks. We're going to be talking design. The purpose of today's stream every Friday for the last couple Fridays, we've been doing design reviews, right? We've been reviewing case study projects. Today, though, tonight, I think this is going to be the last stream for this year. I think next weekend I'm going to be traveling. Um, but let's start here. Folks, what New Year's plans? Let me know in the chat. What are your New Year's plans? I want to hear that. Because the reason I say so is I'm going to be traveling next week and I'm actually going to be in India for a short amount of time. Not going to share any more than that. A very short amount of time. What plans, guys? What plans for New Year's? Because I can tell you what I'm doing right now. Okay. Karthik, bro. Okay, we're getting some answers. Search job. Karthik, New Year's is not the time to search job. Like, really, bro. Come on. I know we're trying to be serious here, a little bit design, career, and all this. New Year is not the time to look for a job. New Year is the time to kind of, um, okay, up to you what you want to do for your New Year. For me, I can tell you this. In New Year's, I'm going to be having a not working New Year, but pretty much around New Year. We, of course, have the Cohort 8 starting on Jan 20th, which means the week just before Jan 20th, those couple of days, we're going to be sending invites for the cohort. But what that means for me is there are 4 weeks left to the cohort. So literally, in my Notion, I've got a full prep thing going on. Let me show you guys this. What do I? For me, this is what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit behind the scenes of my planning. And meanwhile, folks, of course, this is a Q&A. So at any point, if you want to jump in, you want to ask some questions, I'm going to keep looking at the chat every once in a while. Tonight, definitely a casual stream. So check this out, guys, okay? This is my roadmap for the... This is not roadmap for you. This is a roadmap for me the next couple of weeks, right? Right now, we are here. We are in that week number 4. This is just a screenshot from my Notion. So for me right now, every single week, next couple of weeks till week 0. Week 0 is the cohort one. 20th is our kickoff session, Jan 20th. Every single week here, I've got a very specific thing. In fact, not just one specific thing, the entire team coming together to get everything in order to welcome all of our new cohort members who are going to be joining. So this is what mine looks like. My New Year plan, though, I'm definitely going to be chilling, take it a little slow, do a little bit party, Karthik says, after party, search a job. Cool. And Karthik, good point that you brought up here. I do know a lot of you are in that job search process. Smith says, cohort 8 starting 20th or 6th January? Where does it say 6th January? Where does it say 6th January? No, it's starting on 20th. The website, check that out. It says 20th. So 20th is when we're actually starting. Smith, you're... Really, tell me, where did you hear 6th? Because it's not 6th. And I just want to make sure that not accidentally said 6th somewhere. It's not 6th for sure. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, let me hide this roadmap. This is my cohort prep roadmap. So that's what I'm going to be doing. For those of you looking for jobs, by the way, the good news definitely is that hiring picks up. Just my observation, November and December tend to be slower hiring months because people are on leave, right? So November, Diwali ke liye log ghar jate hain. December also log ghar jate hain. And there's a lot of people who are not available. How exactly does this affect? Hiring processes have multiple people involved, And so this tends to slow down decisions and things like that. Just my observation. But yeah. Okay. On AirTribe, it shows 6th January. Okay, Smith, thanks for that note. Probably a mistake within AirTribe. I'll check that out. All right, I'm seeing some questions coming up. Folks, these are some good questions. I'm going to start right now. But meanwhile, let me quickly go into AirTribe and see if I can just confirm this. AirTribe says 15th January. So, what you're probably looking at, I have no idea actually, Smith. ठीक है, chalo. I'll look into that though. All right, let's look at some questions, okay? Satpreet says, how to make a time machine and directly go from 1st Jan to 20th Jan. No, bro. Use this time, Satpreet. Use this time, especially if you're enrolled in the cohort. I can show you something real quick. Those of you who have enrolled in the cohort, we dropped some bonus sessions very recently. So check this out. These bonus sessions, some people have seen them already. Satpreet, I would say use this time to practice Figma, especially if you're a beginner at Figma. It really helps. Outside of that, check out these bonus sessions on AirTribe. My suggestion though, use this time to connect with other cohort members, right? So if you go on Twitter and if you go to our 10K designers page, go to the likes tab or even in the feed, you will see a lot of people who are also enrolled. Talk to them, make these connections. It's almost like class is about to start Jan, May, but you have this opportunity now to, get to know people. So definitely we should do that. That's a good idea to do. Yeah. Prepare my case study. How do I get reviewed? Karthik, right now, I'm not so sure because the case study reviews we're doing are specifically for cohort members. But maybe send me a DM. I would love to just check it out casually. I don't know if I'll be able to review it on stream today because I'm just doing Q&A. But send me a DM. I'll check it out. What's up, Saad? Product designer with 1.5 years of experience, working in a product-based, well-funded startup. The only designer taking care of the entire designing and marketing, graphics. You have a course for a person who is not a beginner like me. So, Saad, the important thing here, right, is what do you want to do? That's the main thing. Because in the end, the course, we do have people who are not beginners who take part, right? So, just to show you a quick example of this, just to show a quick example, let me screen share again. We technically cater to these 3 personas. Should we write here? Right? Most of our folks are actually it depends. It changes every cohort. But there's definitely a lot of people who are fresh who want to get in. So at least 30 to 40% of people are in this persona. Another maybe 20-30% are this persona who've a little bit done design, maybe want to transition though. But we do have a lot of people who are already designers and stuck and want to level up, right? So the question here that you shared that we can talk about now was you are the only designer taking your entire design, product, marketing, graphics, right? You have 1.5 years of experience. Let's switch back here. The question, Saad, is what do you want to do next, right? That probably will tell me more about whether you're a good fit or not, rather than, just the beginner thing. Because, yeah, we do have people who have 1 to 2 years of experience, but the cohort specifically is a rite of passage into a community, right? So, one of the reasons we have a lot of, in fact, this is a double question because, hey, Bala, what's up? I see a question. Why do experienced people and people already at working as designers join 10K? The main reason for this is number one, the experience. So we've got the entire community experience. Number two, our material is not exactly beginner like ABCD type stuff, right? We are not afraid in the cohort to show you advanced level stuff. And so for a lot of people who are in the middle of their career who feel stuck, This advanced level stuff is something they've never even seen before, right? So some of this might be behind the scenes. So checking out with all the, so we do a lot of guest sessions. So just to, you know what, today's Q&A, so I can show you properly and can show you properly some of the stuff. Okay, let's show this here. The reason experienced people join is actually to learn, because this is a very structured learning environment. A lot of stuff that we cover is stuff that really benefits people who are not beginner, benefits everybody, including people who are not beginners. So for example, we do a lot of these kind of things, which are these behind the scenes case studies of real projects out there, right? This is a small selection, of course. We did about 14 or 15 of these in the previous cohort. So these are the recordings of that. We're going to do some more. So this is one reason, to see behind the scenes, to see how it works in other startups. Another reason is design process. The process that Janil and I have um, is one that we have kind of refined over the last maybe 8 to 10 years, right? With our experience working in the industry. And this kind of process really helps you cut out things that are unessential, right? So that's one of the reasons. And number three, it's mostly because of the community, right? This is, for experienced people, a really fast track way to get referrals, to make connections, and also find out how do these teams operate. Which is, there's a lot of people who join who work at smaller companies who are totally clueless about, for example, how does the design team at Zomato work? How do their Figma files look like? How do good teams out there work? So teams is a very important reason people join as well, because I do feel early in your career, a lot of people work solo, like you said, Saad. A lot of people do work solo. And I think unless you worked in a big startup, you might not know what the team design process looks like in today's time with Figma as the primary tool. So those are some reasons. However, it is really personal. I don't know if there are general reasons. Yeah. Sakshi says, can previous cohort folks join C8 Discord? Sakshi, we're going to be, let me not give you an answer right now, but let me just say we do have something planned. Yeah. We are trying to figure out how do we, because we are doing a lot of new and interesting stuff this time. So we are figuring out how to make it available to everybody. So let me just say most likely yes, but let us figure out the details before we commit. What's up, Sahej? I saw your message. I'll get back to you soon. Preparation is going great, bro. How much preparation? A bunch of it, a bunch of preparation. But for me, more than the individual tasks, I think for me, the cohort. This is the 8th cohort, right? Which means we've done it 7 times. In fact, we've done smaller cohorts as well. So almost the 10th cohort. Prep is going great. And it's not just an FYI. It's not something that's super stressful or something, right? We have a system now. Of course, it's not easy. There's still a lot of prep that happens in these weeks that most cohort members don't know about at all. But yeah, it's going well. It's going really well. Ra, what's up? Ra says, after 10K, how much can a beginner designer earn? What's the average? Good question. What I have seen. So, firstly, let's talk about time and then let's talk about money. The cohort is 3 to 4 months, which means those 3 to 4 months you are fully absorbed, designing stuff, meeting people every single week. You're spending 4 hours with me every single week, right? Maybe more than 4 to 6 hours every week. Those 4 months of the cohort are focused on your upskilling, as well as you getting projects that you can create case studies from. In the final month of the cohort, people start creating the case studies. So if the cohort is 3 to 4 months, the period after the cohort, which is the next 3 to 4 months, is when people start making their case studies, start working on their portfolios, polishing, applying, all of that stuff, right? And so we do have support for you throughout. The core of the cohort, however, wraps up in the 3 to 4 months. Most people start after, because this is a very hectic schedule, the cohort. So after that's done, people now start working on their individual stuff. And, within a year, people find it. So, like, from start to end, um, within the year, most people find freelance projects jobs. In fact, when they post case studies, within a couple of weeks of posting their case studies online, they're able to get people in their DMs saying, hey, inbound, freelance, and they're able to use that to apply. Your question, though, was about how much can a beginner designer earn? I just want to set this just to set the context, right? You will not immediately get a job in the fourth month, in the fifth month. You have to use that, apply it, post your work. That's when you start getting it. Uh, Freelance projects, I have seen 20,000, 50,000, 60,000 rupees a month. Beginners, right? 20,000 around for freelance projects. I have seen beginners aram se do that if they have a portfolio. Usually above that, in fact. For full time, um, average. Let me. You're saying average, so let me say on the lower end. The lower end is around, from my observation, around 7 lakhs per annum. Startups that have huge teams, so like startups that are well funded, typically tend to be closer to 10 lakhs per annum and above. So I have seen beginners, and when I say beginners, I mean not that you started yesterday, but you have less than a year of experience. You still have a good amount of experience, but less than a year. I've seen 8, 7, 8, I've seen 10, I've seen 12 in some cases. It gets less common, but around 7 happens all the time. Yeah. Hmm. Thanks, Meet. I'll check that out. Okay. Might be a issue. Funny videos. Funny videos with the goddamn Family Guy PFP. Says how many students are enrolled in one cohort? 100 something. 100 to 200 is our number. Yeah, that's what it is. However, a lot of people get freaked out when I say that. The core of the thing, which is your projects, we've designed it in a way that it works. Even if there are 200, you don't feel like one random person and without any support or anything. You will be, for every assignment, in a pod with 7 to 8 other members and two very solid mentors from our network. And this changes with every assignment. But total, it's hard to say because we do have a lot of people from past cohorts who sometimes participate as well. But yeah, that's what it is. Okay, let's switch some tracks here. Hmm. Saiful, what's up, Saiful? How to improve the UX research skill as a beginner? Saiful, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can answer this. Um, and I'll tell you why, right? I'll be very honest with you. Let me think out loud. I don't know if I can answer this because it really depends on who you are. If you're a product designer, the answer is different. If you are a UX researcher, the goal is different. If you are just a beginner and you want to learn UX research skill, it still depends on whether you want to apply for UX research roles, which is a very different thing, or product designer roles. UX research roles, the majority of the work you do is UX research. Product designer roles, one part of the thing you do is UX research, right? So it really depends on that. I don't know if I can answer this in a good way. Hey Nidhi, what's up? What kind of case study would you suggest to get a job for 2 years experience there? So Nidhi, I'm assuming you have 2 years of experience, which is awesome. You want to have case studies in your projects. So my suggestion to you, Nidhi, number one, in these 2 years, the real projects that you worked on, right? So when I say real, all I mean is for a client or for your company, whatever that might be, give those the highest priority. This thing keeps popping up. I should do this when I say one, one, one. Okay. So number one, give highest priority to your real projects, ones that you worked for clients, freelance, full time, whatever. Number two priority, give it to end to end projects. So like it's a project. Nuance there, right? So for example, a lot of us we do dribble screens which are just for dribble, right? So for example, we're doing daily UI, or let's say you're doing design drug, or one of those things. Those are not projects, right? That's you're just making screens for practice. A case study ideally should be a project. A project has a scope, like it's a problem statement. It has a start date, it has an end date, and it you went through it, you took some decisions, and now you're talking about that in the case study. So Nidhi, my suggestion would be highest priority would be two real paid projects that you worked on. That's the highest priority for your portfolio. Second highest priority would be conceptual projects that you worked on. So you have 2 years of experience. I am sure in these 2 years, you've realized that there are some interesting things that you want to learn, right? You, for example, right now, we know AI is popular. So a lot of us want to at least experiment with something related to AI. And that's a very positive curiosity to have. See if you can channel that curiosity into a project, which is some end to end thing, which is even if you're not really launching something, concept, right? AI is an early technology, which means we don't know where it will go, but we can kind of design for that future, right? So, anyway, to summarize all of that again, top priority to client commercial projects, second priority to concept projects. Yeah. And of course, Nidhi, I don't really know what you already have in your portfolio, but that's my general advice for anyone who's in that. In fact, this kind of advice, not just for somebody who has 2 years, even if you have 5 years of experience, this is exactly what you would follow. Even if you have less than a year of experience, you might not have real projects, right? In which case, you will do simulated projects, right? Concept projects that you come up with. Um, and to give you an idea of what those concept projects look like, for those of you who are less than 1 year, early in your stage, that's what we do in the cohort. We have these things called, we're calling this design studio simulator, startup simulator. But basically, we help you come up with the problem statement. We assign you mentors who will give you feedback on that problem statement. There will be a bunch of other people in a team like simulated environment that you will work with. You'll work solo though. Everybody's working on their own stuff. And if you want to see an example, you can check out our project showcase. Right. So these are some projects that people have worked on. And so what we do is most of the assignment projects are these simulated projects. So things like this, right? Something in your interest. So we help you have that choice to decide. We will help you set guidelines though to make sure you're on the right path. And towards the end of the cohort, we get a few capstone problem statements. So these are real problem statements from companies who end up using this either, you know, there's no guarantee of getting hired or anything, but the win-win scenario here is you get a real problem statement to work on that you can add to your case study. And for companies, they typically do this for their hiring pipeline. So even if they're not immediately hiring, doing this, you kind of get a chance of, when they eventually are hiring, if your project is good, you have a good chance of getting in. Okay. Mm, let me see. Let me see some questions here. Let's go on this flow. Abdullah, advanced level means information architecture, design systems. No, no, no. Abdullah, I get what you mean, but no. I don't mean advanced design topics. I mean advanced situations in life, right? Similar, but what I mean by advanced is somebody who works at Zomato, just to give an example, is responsible for shipping something that goes to how many hundreds of thousands of users, including you, right? If you're a user of Zomato, that's an advanced situation. But you're right. For those advanced situations, the stakes are higher, which means you can't just do ऐसी Figma में जो भी. You need process, right? So when I say advanced, I'm talking about advanced process for these types of scenarios. So learning from that, but also learning the process such that when you are in that position in the future, you're not just fucking around in Figma doing screens. You have a process that you're following to get to an outcome, which is shipping a product, which has these stakes involved where it's going to go to lots of users, right? So when I say advanced, I mean at higher stakes. And of course, when you go to higher stakes, you have to be a little bit more specific about information architecture, design systems. But I'm not talking about the role of information architecture, the role of design systems. As a product designer, I'm talking about these kind of situations where you're working on these high stake projects. If you've never worked on those, you don't know what they look like, right? So in the cohort, we try to introduce that stuff. But yes, we do have a lot of experts in design systems who will show you behind the scenes of what design systems at some of these companies look like, right? So you have an idea of what that is. Hmm. Coming back to Saad's question, I asked because I lack a design team or experience guidance. I'm learning alone and concerned about my direction without anyone to review my work. Um, this is a very good point, guys. How many of you also feel this way? I just want to see how whether other people in this scenario. How many of you feel like or are in this scenario where the person you report to is not a designer, and so you feel like you might not be getting direction and feedback to improve. You're just task kar rahe hain, just doing tasks, and your growth is not being planned as such. How many of you feel that way? Because I can talk about this for a bit. Yeah. How many of you feel this way? Learning alone, concerned about direction. ठीक है. The reason I say so is, guys, see, there's nothing wrong with this. First up, I'll say this, Saad. You're not in a you're not in a bad scenario, right? For sure, you're not in a bad scenario. वो कह सकते हैं. However, you are in a very common scenario because most people, when they start out, do not have the skills to apply to these rock star teams, right? When I started out, I did not. In fact, I was in college when I started out. The option to tha hi nahi because I could not. I'm not going to leave college. So I had 2 years left in college to figure out. But this is a very common scenario. And I just want anybody who's in this scenario to understand that you're not in a bad position. You're in a normal position. This happens all the time. Let's look at the plus sides and the negative sides, right? Plus sides, the plus side is that you have responsibility. So now you're working on these projects, whether it's marketing, design, you're doing a mix of everything. You said, Saad. Normal scenario to be in. You're getting reps, right? Iterations, you're getting all of this. Number two, you're getting real projects that one day will be in your case study. Okay? You will eventually be able to talk about these real projects. And so the top priority in your portfolio, real projects, you have those. That's your advantage. The negative of this, though, is after a first couple of years, you start feeling that gap because you're like, I don't know how to benchmark myself. So, coming back to my example, when I was starting out, the first 2 years, I was in college, happened to be in college that time. First 2 years, I had no design teams, right? Nobody giving me feedback. But what did I have? I had peers, right? So I had other people in my hostel who are also doing this. So I could ask them. So one suggestion for those of you who feel you're in this position is find peers who are all not who figured it out, but maybe are a couple steps ahead of you or at the same level as you. So peers is your advantage if you can do that. Saad, you're in a company, but your goal should be making friends with people who are not in your company. right? Make friends with other designers in the industry. That's how you get to benchmark yourself against other people. But coming to the story, first 2 years of my career, I was just working freelance, right? So getting projects, making some amount of money, but at the same time, not getting too much feedback or guidance or like in my career, whatever. And I didn't know any other designers. First 2 years, I knew no other designers. I knew a few friends who were doing design, but they were not designers. After that, though, I think in my third year of being a designer, since I started Photoshop and all this, I joined housing.com. And that was the first time that I joined a design team. By this time, I already had 2 years of freelance experience, but I had just graduated from college. So, no full time real experience. However, my projects were good enough. My case study was good enough to actually get in. And when I was at housing, at its peak, there were 55 designers. At its peak, though, when I joined, it was like already at 20 and they were overhiring, actually, to be honest. But it was very useful for me because I could now compare myself to other people and learn from them, right? So some designers that you might know of, including folks like Sapta, right, who also does YouTube videos, Saptarshi Prakash. So he was on my team at Housing, right? So working with all these people was definitely a unique experience. And Saad, my suggestion to you is this might be the right time in your career to start thinking about this stuff, right? So from those projects that you've done, case studies, and maybe your next goal is to work in a better team. And your options, right? Either you join a startup that has a rockstar team, but then this is very competitive. You need to have a very, very standout portfolio to do this, right? In our cohorts, for example, not everybody gets into these top ones, but a lot of them do, right? Standout work though. But the other option is smaller startups or design agencies. Design agencies sometimes have as big of a design team as a lot of these startups do. And agency is also a great place. But your call, Saad. I hope that for folks who said yes to this scenario, I noticed a few people said, feel the same, me, feel the same. I hope this helps you understand a little bit, which is starting out is totally normal to work as the solo designer, which is a good thing. You get you get the chance to do everything. But moving forward, yeah, it's reporting to a designer versus reporting to a non-designer. My experience, my personal opinion, it's better to report to a designer, right? But at the same time, it's not that reporting to a designer is the best shit all the time. There have been times in my life where I'm like Unacademy, for example. I did not report to a designer. I reported directly to the founder. A lot of freelance projects I did, I reported directly to the founder. And those have been some of the best experiences of my life, right? So, not a one size fits all, but definitely the person you are reporting to should be as good as possible, right? That's the key takeaway that you can take here. And so, as long as the person you're reporting to is good, that's positive. Then the people who are also working with you should be good. That's the second one. Those are some things you should think about. Yeah. But don't feel bad if you're a solo designer. It's the best position to be in. Maybe not the best, but it's a good position to be in. Make the most of it. Yeah. And you know what? It's actually very interesting. How many of you have seen that bell curve meme, right? um, One sec. I'll show you guys this. You guys have seen this, right? What I'm trying to say is let's not look at this from a IQ perspective, as the meme says, but let's look at this as the meme, right? The meme says when you're early, you're like this. People are midweight like this. And then when you're later, you do this. Early in your career, you work with individual, you work as a solo designer. Middle of your career, you have everything, but you don't know what's good. End of your not end of your career, but late in your career, very likely that you are a okay, wait, I'm confusing. At the start, you are reporting to non-designers. You're reporting to whoever is the decision maker. Middle of your career, you're reporting to lots of people. You are responsible for business teams, engineering kya chal raha hai, ye kya chal raha hai, all of this stuff, right? Early in your career though, not too much, right? Early in your career, typically there's one or two people who are who people you're reporting to and they do it. Late in your career, you typically end up reporting to fewer people, which is late in your career as you get into leadership. Yes, you have to manage a lot of other people, other heads of department and all this stuff. You have designers under you that you are mentoring who you have to kind of help them get the best work out there. But end of the career, you're not reporting to too many people. You're reporting to one or two people, which is, you know, founder or head of product, head of design, director of product, director of design. So anyway, I don't know if that was a good example, but just when I was thinking about that, right, it reminded me of this meme because yeah, start of your career you report to one or two people, middle of your career you're reporting to all these people, multiple people and all the team. Late in your career again you're reporting to fewer people, but now you're responsible for a lot of people. Hope that was a flawed, but I hope that example kind of made sense. Yeah. Let's look at a few more questions here. Guys, समझ में आया थोड़ा सा बताओ थोड़ा. Hmm. Nidhi says, help enhancing my UI skills, help me learning more. Oh, no, no. Nidhi, we're not covering Photoshop and Illustrator at all. Zero. Zero. And the main reason for that is UI UX designers, product designers today do not use Photoshop. And of course, you can find some examples of kahin na kahin abhi bhi Photoshop use kar rahe hain. But every single team, major design team, pretty much uses Figma. Figma is the industry leading software. In fact, I don't know if I can get it I see instantly. There was this report done, and I think in the industry today, like 80% of people use Figma. Like Figma is the tool. So we'll be talking about Figma, no Photoshop Illustrator. If you know it already, that's great. Cohort is just Figma though. And will it help enhancing my UI skills? Absolutely. Yes. Through these projects, you will have a ton of opportunity to practice. You will have 3 to 5 hour feedback sessions where me and Jenny, we sit down with your project, with a bunch of projects, and we spend 5 hours just reviewing one by one. So you will get feedback to improve your UI. But outside of that, for each project in the cohort, you will have a pod, right? It's kind of like a simulated team. And you will have mentors who will give you Figma comments, every single thing for that. So it'll definitely help, but that's definitely not the only thing we do. We focus a lot on UI, UX, and process. A great idea is to talk to other cohort members, like past cohort members, right? If you have specific questions, I'm sure they would be able to answer because they've been in that same position as well. Nice to see some cohort 7 people here. Sahej. Nice to see some alumni. Sahej, Sambhav. What's up, guys? Process की बात चल रही है, so let me pick some process related questions, okay? देखते हैं, चलो. What more? Abdullah says Lollipop Design Studio has 240 designers across multiple studios. Thank you for the number, Abdullah. I wasn't aware. But yeah, guys, I want to really look at this example. If your goal is to work in teams, I know you want to work at Rockstar Teams, right? I know you want to work at Cred. Why? Cred has really good fucking designers. It's very clear that they care about design. But at the same time, how competitive it is getting in. You know how it seems like every month there is some viral concept design for Cred that goes viral on LinkedIn, right? But it's very competitive. Definitely shoot for that if that's your goal, right? These product rockstar teams. But if teams is the main thing, I would say this is not a bad option at all because agencies like design studios typically get a lot of huge projects, right? So some examples. You might be one day designing an app for Axis Bank, and then the next month you're designing some insurance product for the web or something. And so the advantage that I have seen, right? For example, when I was at Unacademy, I did hire people who had past agency experience as a product designer, though. And the best thing I notice about them is they've got insane speed, number one, insane quality, because, you know, iterations, as you keep doing more, you get better, and they have more iterations than others. And they have a diverse kind of portfolio. Like they've worked on a ton of stuff, right? So just to give a kind of clear to understand example, imagine there is two designers. Okay, one has 3 years of experience worked in a product company, one has 3 years of experience worked in an agency. My guess is this person makes more money. Product companies pay more, at least at the outset, right? Again, specifics, there might be some outliers, but agencies, killer work ethic, right? The person who's in the agency has worked on more projects, like more projects than this person, most likely, because every month, sometimes multiple projects in a month, different clients, right? You get the opportunities unlike any other, right? So agencies, I would say, agencies, design studios are a great option. And agencies and design studios are a hiring pool for bigger companies, right? So in the same way that 10K designers is a hiring pool for startups who want to hire, companies that want to hire, agencies are another very viable hiring pool for startups that want to hire. Why? Because they have so much experience working on all these different projects, people in agencies, and they've worked in teams before. So they understand team dynamics. Thanks, Abdullah. Thanks for sharing that. Hmm. और क्या बात हुई? What kind of Priyansh already answered this question in this stream itself. What kind of case study suggest for fresher? Check it out. Short version. Short version. Do projects, not one-off screens. One-off screens are great for practice, but you want to do a project. A project is a very specific product that you're working on end to end. It's a problem statement. There is a process. There is an outcome. Then there is a case study that talks about this entire part. Yeah. Mm. But yes, check out some of these other streams to get an idea of what other people in your position are working on. Definitely also check out 10kdesigners.com/case studies. Like literally just this page here. This will show you a bunch of uh, examples/inspiration. Mm-hmm. Chalo guys, chalo. Let's talk. What's up, Ishat? Thank you. Looking forward. You're enrolled in the cohort from what I remember. So looking forward. What's up, Sahil? Um, Read my comment, sir. I'm confused. Sahil, I think I saw your comment. You've submitted a new application. I'll check it out, Sahil. No worries. I'll check out your application. All good. If you've applied just today or just yesterday, next 3-4 days, I'll definitely check it out. Hey Meha, what's up? Again, let me read the context. 2 hours in the weekdays to learn basics of Figma for the cohort. Will that be enough, or do I have to spend more? So Meha, the way you can think about it is Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, cohort days. Like we have sessions on these days. Wednesday and Saturday is the core one. Friday usually is our guest session spot. So on these days, anyway, you're spending 2 hours per with us in that session. And these sessions are not just watching a stream or watching a Netflix show. These are like active, right? So you'll have to do stuff as part of that. So 4 to 6 hours just attending those sessions and doing the thing, you're getting some practice. So like that's the bare minimum I suggest everybody who's enrolled in the cohort. These 4 to 6 minimum you should put in. Like attend every single session because it's way better live than watching it pre-recorded later. You will have access to it, but it's way better live. Outside of that, I would say most of your time is going to go during the assignment weeks. And so during those assignment weeks, if you have 1 to 2 hours per day to focus, um, I think that works, but try to see if you can have some long sessions, right? So 1 to 2 hours, not that you can't get a lot done, but sometimes you want, मतलब कुछ और कुछ नहीं है दिन में करने को, you know, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. You have that free time to just be in it, right? So I would definitely suggest if you can include some long work sessions as part of this. छोटे sessions में हो जाता है design काम, but definitely you want to have a few of these long sessions जहाँ पे बैठ के आराम से you can do stuff without that urgency or hurry. Yeah. Let me get the light, guys. Hmm. Hmm. Makes sense, Meha. Yeah. Overall, mm, just sessions alone in the cohort is about 6 hours a week. Outside of that, 10 to 20 hours a week, if you can manage, gives you the best results. However, you find your balance within that. But the good thing that I can definitely share is I don't think accountability will be a problem as long as you're attending the sessions. We make these sessions like fun so that it's not like, oh, calm karna hai. It's like, bro, like this is the most fun thing. Like everything else is okay, but I have to attend these sessions. Like that's the most fun thing in the week. That's what we aim for. And yeah, you can talk to some of our past cohort members. I think we're doing a decent job at that and getting better every cohort. Memorts, differences in this cohort compared to earlier ones. Biggest difference is we are earlier cohorts were three months duration, so 12 weeks duration plus another couple of weeks जहाँ sessions नहीं होते थे, but just maybe some guest sessions here and there. This cohort, we've officially said that it's 4 months instead of 3 months, right? So 16 weeks, and that final month we have some new stuff. Other than that, we're also changing the pacing of the cohort. So assignments are getting a slight update. Slides, of course, every cohort we update these new examples. Clear, guys. If I had to get real with you guys for a sec, a lot of people ask me, "Don't you get bored teaching the same shit over and over?" Right? And it's a valid question because from their perspective, it's like, "What's in it for me? Why do I do this? Don't I get bored of this?" And the reality is, no, I don't get bored of it because every cohort is different. And for every cohort, like my challenge, right? Like, let's say as a educator, my challenge is theek hai. That same thing. I might have said it 7 times already, every single cohort. In fact, every cohort I probably said it 7 times, right? So there are things which I've 100 बार बोल चुका हूँ. But with every cohort, I need to express it clearer. I need to help you figure out what is bullshit and cut it out. I need to figure out जो मैं explain कर रहा हूँ, what I'm explaining. Is there a better way I can say it that hits, that is relatable? The examples. How can I have the examples that you will remember? How do I make the examples not, right? And so all these things, what it means is all the slides, every single session gets an update. Week wise, जो pacing होती है, all of that gets an update. The assignments get an update. Um, of course, guest session, we have new guests every single time. So that gets an update too. But this time around, I think now that we are at this eighth cohort mark, Another new thing that's happening is we have for past cohort members, we're coming up with new ways to engage in the cohort. So right now, past cohort members, most of them participate in the guest sessions that happen, but we're trying to figure out how we can change that. Design problems, but figuring it out. Yeah. Ritik says, I don't know anything. Still, I want to join this cohort. I'll be honest with you, Ritik. Maybe not the best time if you don't know anything. But the good news is there's a lot of stuff on this channel. So this channel is new. This channel we only started a month ago. But there is another channel called Abnux, which is my personal channel. That's the first channel that I started. And I started that in 2018. So there's like 100 videos on there, 100 or more. So definitely start there. And yeah, you don't have to watch just my stuff, right? Watch other people's stuff. Like watch Saptarshi. He's got some good stuff. Ansh Mehra's got a bunch of really nice stuff as well. If you don't know anything though, maybe not this cohort, maybe the next one. At the very least, I would say if you want to make the most out of it, Figma to hona chahiye. Figma to you should know. And the good thing is Figma basics, it only takes a week or two to learn it, right? So ठीक है. That's my suggestion to you. Abhi I don't know, but karo bro, karo. Online karo. There's a lot of stuff available, and you have to feel totally ready, right? Because when you feel ready, like this is it, that means you make it a priority, and then you cut out everything else so you can focus and make that the sole priority in your life. Because I can tell you this, guys, the cohort starts in Jan, right? But it's a new year. I know a lot of us will have New Year resolutions. Point is, 2024, those of you who are enrolled, for the first 4 months of 2024, you're going to be spending every single week, twice a week, in fact, with me, right? So definitely, I'm going to put you through an experience. I'm going to teach you a lot of stuff. We're going to build a lot of stuff together. But after that is when the responsibility comes back to you, which is you have to take what's learned and you have to actually apply it, post your work, and all that stuff that we tell you to do, right? That's how you get your portfolio, case studies, interviews, inbound. That's how you get freelance. So the reason I say you should join only if you're sure, only if you're committed to it, is because for the next 6 months of 2024, this should be your primary focus. That's because in the end, we want our cohorts to have outcomes, right? We've got really high outcomes and we want to keep that. And for you as well, we want you to be successful. We want the cohort to actually give you a transformation. So do it when you're ready, bro. No hurry. We're not going away anywhere. साल में 2 बार हम करते रहेंगे cohorts. It's a commitment though, right? So be sure when you make that. Varun says, do you think your cohort is a little bit overpriced compared to other online courses? If no, why do you think it's worth the bucks? Good question, Varun. And see, I'm not going to get defensive or like गुस्सा नहीं होने वाला मैं. ठीक है, good question. It's number one, it's a live course, right? So that's number one. If I was doing a pre-recorded course, I could definitely sell it for cheaper because I don't have to keep doing it again, right? एक बार बनाओ और बेचो, right? Make it once and then sell. This is unfortunately not that. Every cohort, it's almost like it takes up 4 months of a year, guys. So one third to 1/4 of my year goes towards just a cohort alone. And we've got like every cohort has like 30 to 50 mentors that are paid to join, right? So it's way more cost intensive running a live cohort, a cohort based course compared to something that's pre-recorded. I think that's one reason. But the other reason people pay us is because there is nobody like us in the market, right? There's no second Abhinav out there. Simple as that. There's no second 10K designers out there, right? So what we have is quite a unique experience. It's not for everybody for sure. In fact, the reason we only do 2 cohorts a year, because we know it's not for everybody. It's quite a niche product if you think about it. At the same time, do I want to be in a position where I'm doing a new cohort every single month? Like 10 cohort kar rahe hain saal ke? No. It's going to be 2 a year. Because in the end, the courses don't really have to give you an outcome. They just have to be a good course. We have to be a good course, but we also have to give you an outcome. And so we have to maximize your chances of getting it. And we have to, your accountability, we have to keep that accountability from day one to day 30 to day 60 to day 90 to day 120. And then after day 120, now you're in, you have a connection, you have a network of people for life. You have connections to these people who work at these amazing companies. Beyond that, responsibilities in your court, but now you are officially a part of the cohort. So we have this saying, which is cohort once, community forever. That's something we really believe in. And future cohorts, you now have the chance to come back. So to give a little bit from the employer's perspective, at least this is based on my research, my conversations. Some employers have told me, or this is what I've gotten from my observations. They like hiring from 10K because they know people have a design culture, right? So they know process. They like hiring from 10K because even if you don't know something, you know other people who you can immediately get an answer. So these are people who have community. And number three, a lot of teams today, as they're hiring, if their first hire from 10K designers is good, they'll probably hire a second person very soon and a third person very soon. So it kind of gives a peace of mind that these people are vetted, right? They have quality. So those are roughly the reasons why. Um, it is quite expensive, but think of the effort. Think of the effort. That's why we do it. We have a lot more coming up, Ishat. No worries. Maybe a future cohort. But yeah, definitely. We have a lot more videos coming up. Now that we started the second channel, even more. But yeah, stay tuned. Abdullah says, I think 10K is underpriced. Yeah, maybe, maybe. Definitely, I can tell you this. People that you talk to from the alumni, if you ask them the question, did you get more than X amount of worth? So if you paid X for the cohort, did you get more than X value? I would bet most people will say yes. That's one of our core things that we focus on. So yeah. Love from Nepal, Lark. Namaste. Love from Nepal. Thank you for joining, bro. Why the name 10K Designers? Varun, the name 10K Designers is because we're on a mission to literally create 10,000 exceptional designers in India. India has a problem. We don't have enough design schools. Most of the design schools were started in the past, right? NID, amazing place to be, beautiful campus. But it was started in a time where design was product industrial design, it was furniture design, it was interior design, it was maybe graphic design to some extent. UI/UX design, like designing digital products, is a relatively new field, and we don't yet have really good schools in India for it. Yet, we cannot wait for 10 years to eventually have good schools for it, right? That was one of the reasons why I started this, because having been a designer, having gone through the struggle myself of figuring everything out using the internet, bro, everybody likes to say internet pe sab kuch hai. That's not a good thing though, because जो चाहिए वो इतनी सी चीज है, but सब कुछ है, right? So the problem on learning on the internet is you have to cut through crap to eventually find that gold. Anyway, from my own personal experience, I realized it was very useful to have a network of people. Housing.com पे जब मैं था तो I met a lot of designers there, like, and because of that, I now have connections with heads of design at good companies because they were once my teammates at housing.com, right? So it helped me a lot. And so after Unacademy, after that leadership position, I was like, what next? What's something bigger that I can do? This was the only thing left, right? This was the only thing. I had this feeling that if I don't do this, there's a very likely chance that nobody will. And I was like, I feel like I can do this. Like, and so that's why I set a goal that, you know, because chalo story mode, right? We're in a stream today. Guys, जब मैं YouTube कर रहा था शुरू में,
when I was in Unacademy, right? I see just for fun. It was helping people for sure, but I was like, मैं तो videos बना रहा हूँ, right? After that, I don't care what people do when they watch the video. But when I got serious about it, and I was like, Unacademy, we're doing a like Unacademy where we were building products that were helping people prepare for these exams and all this. I was like, I want to help people, bro. Like, I want to like this educator thing. Being an educator and being a designer is, I feel, very closely related, at least in my mind. So I said, this YouTube thing, ठीक है करते रहूंगा, but light नहीं लेना. Like, I don't want to just do it ऐसी मजे के लिए, right? अगर करना है तो अच्छे से करते हैं. If I want to actually help designers, let's properly help designers. Because help designers, I can make one video and it helped. So I decided properly करते हैं. And if I want to do properly, how many people do I want to help? Kitne people, right? 10K designers. That's what it happened. That's what happened. And so 10,000 high quality designers, it's going to take us at least, right? Right now we are at 1,000 and we've been running for 3.5, almost 4 years. So you can imagine, right? I want to finish it by 2030 though. And when I say finish, I don't mean shut down the company. I want to hit this goal of 10K, 10,000. Mushkil lag raha hai, but I think I'll figure it out along the way. Yeah. Yeah. It won't be the end of cohorts, but maybe it'll be the end of cohorts, right? The company is going to last as long as I'm willing to run it. Company is going to last. But maybe it won't be cohorts, right? Because Sahil, ye soch ke dekho, if there are 10,000 exceptionally good designers, it exists today, by the way, right? I'm sure there are 10,000 exceptionally good designers that exist in the world, but they're not aligned. They're not all coordinating. They're not all a part of the same scene or whatever. They don't know each other. If you can create a community, a high affinity community, high skill community, high net worth, money, outcomes, community. Whoa, what's this? If you can do that, I think a lot more possibilities open up. So, 10,000, for me, it's almost like a little bit gamification, right? At 1,000 now, I know I can do a lot more interesting stuff that I could not do at 100. Similarly, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, there's going to be a lot of new stuff. So it won't be the end of cohorts, but maybe something new comes out of it at that stage. Yeah. Abdullah says, yeah, guys. And here's the thing, right? In the end, folks, I don't see myself as a marketer. I'm a designer in the end. I'm not here to sell you on something, right? If it's good for you, it's good for you. Nahi hai to nahi hai. Masters Union is pretty good. Masters Union, I think, is a physical program though. So that's something we don't offer. We don't offer a campus experience. Sounds nice, but yeah, we made a very intentional design decision. We're going to offer an international remote experience, right? So that's kind of our unique area. I'm based in Copenhagen. My wife Ghana, she works for a European startup. Janil, who teaches every single session with me, works for an American huge company. I can't even say startup, like corporation. And so we chose to be international remote. Um, but check it out, guys. Check it out. For an offline program, my guess is Masters Union is probably the only decent option out there. But again, I don't know. I don't really know about that. But yeah, Abdullah, thanks for bringing it up. What are you doing in Copenhagen other than running the cohort? Kafka? Kafka on the shore? Nothing. If you're asking in terms of work, like do I have a main job or a side job somewhere? No. Work wise, 10K design is the only thing I'm doing. Other than that, what am I doing? मजे ले रहे हैं ब्रो, लाइफ जी रहे हैं, डिज़ाइन कर रहे हैं, टीम बना रहे हैं, कम्युनिटी बना रहे हैं. Other than that, I'm just here living though. My wife, she works here for a European startup, but I don't have employment here. I work on my own uh, startup, 10K designers. Mm. Ishat, if you're a beginner, I would definitely suggest checking out design um, the design crash course playlist. दिखाता हूँ मैं अभी दिखाता हूँ. So if you go to content, you will find design crash course, right? ये देखो, पुरानी playlist है, right? This was 5 years ago. So this is the first playlist that I worked on. But this is a good fucking way to get started, right? So यहाँ से शुरू करो. The good thing is if you are able to watch these episodes, right? कितने हैं? 25 हैं. 10 भी अगर देख लो, 10 episode देख लो इसमें से, YouTube will start suggesting more design stuff to you, right? So if you watch these, not only will you learn the basics, so like things like terms, steps, I see it's 5 years old, so a little bit dated, but concepts are there, right? The principles of design, all this concepts are. This is still what I would recommend. If you watch these 10, YouTube's algo will know you are a designer. You want to learn design, and you are then going to start seeing all of this other stuff in your recommendations. You will see whiteboard.fm. You will see all of our sessions. You will see my videos. You'll see other design YouTubers. So I'll say that's the minimum. That's a good path, actually. But outside of that, um, if you don't want to watch the full like playlist of सीखने के लिए है, if you just want a quick view of what it is, this is probably the best video to check out, right? I made this roadmap wala video. I guess this is one of the might just be my top video on the channel. Uh, this should give you a good idea. Yeah. Mm. Where am I living? Isha, I'm in Copenhagen. So Copenhagen, Denmark. Um, let's break the let's break let's break the fourth wall, guys. So I'm Copenhagen, Denmark. This is my design studio. Right here, I am working on with you guys on the stream. Right there is my Christmas tree for this year. Bought that tree, put a bunch of ornaments on it. And right there on that side is the city of Copenhagen. So Denmark in the winter right now. Guys, it looks like it's the sun is about to set, but it's literally 3:45 p.m. right now. And sunset time in Denmark is 4 p.m. as of now. So that's where I am right now, guys. I actually grew up in Bangalore though. So I've been in Bangalore, Mike. I've been in Bangalore for I think since 2003. So I did all my schooling in Bangalore. Was very lucky that startup scene happened in Bangalore. So was involved वहाँ पे. Moved to Bombay बीच में housing.com के लिए. But about 3 years back, I quit Unacademy. So I had a head of design role there. I spent 1 year building up 10K designers and then I shifted. So 10K designers को 3.5 years हो गए हैं. First year I was in Bangalore though. The rest of the time I built it out of here, Copenhagen से. Yeah. Guys, we'll wrap up in maybe 15 minutes. Yeah. I want to give you guys value, right? So any questions that you have, I'll be happy to answer. I'm going to be a little selective, but yeah. What's the selection rate? I don't think we've officially published this. तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ मैं बताऊँ या नहीं. But I can tell you this: first 2 cohorts, the selection rate was just 10%, and the reason why was because they were very small cohorts. The first two. Since then, it's gone a little bit up. So I think it's less than 50% for sure, but around that time, right? So if you have a good application, most of the time, and especially if you've done some design work, if you have that aptitude, most of the time you should make it through. It's not 10% anymore though. 10% shuru mein tha. Now it's maybe 30-40% maybe. So basically, if 100 people apply, in the end, उन 100 में से 30-40 people होते हैं cohort में, right? Roughly that. I don't have the exact number right now. So I'm just telling you from memory. Yeah. Thanks, Risha. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. How do you plan to Kafka, bridge the gap between newbies and some who are already working. We've been bridging the gap. Like we do that every cohort. We've had this 3 persona split. Um, just to quickly show you guys that. How do we plan to balance? Roughly, the problem statements are picked by people, right? So people who are more advanced sometimes pick harder problem statements. But outside of that, it's mostly positive because it's like you're not in a class with not everybody's a noob, right? Let me just say it that way. Usually, agar मैं 10th standard में होता, everybody's a noob, सब 10th standard में है, right? But compare that to let's say an MBA experience. MBA experience में you find people from all types of experience. Some people have worked internationally, some people work for these huge companies, you know, diverse stuff. So we've kind of designed it a little bit like that, where it's not just one person, everybody is exactly the same type of person. You have different types of people because as a designer, number one, you understand what diversity and empathy for different people other than you looks like. But other than that, there's not too much of a gap. How do you bridge it? Um, we manage pretty well. Yeah. People who are experienced, they spend their time on the more advanced stuff. People who are less experienced spend more time on the actual just execution stuff. Yeah. Hmm. What's up, Sohit? BSc in animation, Jen. Nice. 2025. Planning to do HCI from US. Any tips on that? Sohit, I want to show you something, okay? Show you something. My suggestion to you, Sohit, 2023 now, right? So you have 2 years left. Use these 2 years to learn design, pretty much, right? Basic. I think some the thing with HCI is they're not going to teach you Figma there. Figma sikhayenge bhi nahi, literally, right? So neither are they going to teach you how to work with clients. Neither are going to they teach you how startups work. It's a totally different curriculum. So my suggestion is use these 2 years to become a designer, like literally learn Figma, work on projects, maybe get clients. Outside of that, this is my suggestion. This video, we've uploaded this on the channel. Oh, fuck. Hide this. This video, we've uploaded it on the channel. This one, actually. Vipin. So check it out. We also have a bunch more episodes coming out soon. Like we've right now shot 3 episodes at one particular university. Overall, I think we have about 5 or 6. I think if you look at the top 10 HCI universities in the US, we have 10K designers. I don't know, 10 hain bhi. Top 10 HCI universities in the US, we have 10K designers, folks at least 5 or 6 of them. So we are actually working on getting some of these videos out. This is core. Mostly this is focused on things like SOP kaise likhte hain. For LOR, by the way, letters of recommendation, I personally write LORs for not everybody, but for few people in the cohort, right? So if you enroll in the cohort and you've done your assignments, talk to me in the beginning of the cohort if you're planning to apply. But let me just say this: anybody here who's already an alumni, if you're ever planning to apply to say, I'll help you with an LOR, right? Talk to me about that. But Sohit, that's my suggestion to you, bro. Use these 2 years well. And outside of that, we're going to release, I think, this publicly soon in the cohort pehle. But yeah. Warney says, working in sales 6 days a week, join the cohort. How many hours should I put in design? Oh, Warney, rough number. I'll give you the rough number. 10 hours. Minimum 10 hours. Ideal 20 hours a week, right? It's going to be difficult, but try to plan your week, right? One way I can tell you about it: Wednesday, Saturday are the core sessions that you cannot miss. Do not miss this. Like, really, you're paying for a live course. Show up for the live sessions. Wednesday, Saturday, you're going to spend about 2 to 3 hours each with me, right? So, 6 ghante, 6 out of those 10 to 20 hours are just attending the sessions. Outside of that, let's say 6 hours you attend the sessions, 4 hours practice. Now, those 4 hours, we talked about in this stream, it can be 1 hour every day post work, but I would definitely suggest trying to do bigger sessions rather than doing multiple chote sessions. Right? You want to sit down around, say 2-3 hours in Figma, work on it. So think about it that way, right? I think weekends, from what I'm seeing at least, weekends is probably when you're going to be working on it most. So Saturday mornings, the whole day, evening you're going to have the session, you're going to work on Sunday, and the weekday, at least Wednesday, since the session is at 7 p.m., figure out how you can show up to those sessions. So 7 p.m. on Wednesday, but you can probably use evenings and nights to make it happen. So rough number, 10 to 20 hours is what I would say. Yeah. Ashwini, time starting. Can you suggest some stuffs? Learn Figma. That's the most top one. And visit Airtribe. 2 guest sessions have been uploaded on Airtribe. One of them shows the design process that we did. And the other one is a little bit auto layout tutorial. Not tutorial, auto layout, how it works in a real project. Now, auto layout, of course, is an advanced Figma concept. So, in terms of order, folks, this is what I would suggest, okay? If you want to literally, before by Jan, you want to really figure out how should I do design, okay? I'm going to give you a few suggestions. Even if you're not enrolled in the cohort, some of these you can watch, okay? Um, One sec. All right, here we go. Design suggestions for anybody who wants to become a designer 2024. Start here. Start on Figma's playlists on their channel. Maybe this one, new to Figma, Figma for beginners tutorials. This is like just, it'll take you maybe an hour to go through this, maybe another hour to try out everything here. This is the first thing you should do. Second thing you should do, in fact, this could be the first thing. Check out this video called The World's Shortest Figma Course. Really fucking good. I saw this and I was like, dude, fuck, I wish I came up with this idea. So check out this course, World's Shortest Figma Course. I think you should probably check out this first before going into the official Figma playlists. World's Shortest Figma Course, and then watch this, World's Shortest UI/UX Design Course. Now again, guys, this is 7 minutes. So 7 minutes, it does a fantastic job talking about what you need to know. After this, though, I'm going to suggest cohort related. After this, come and watch this. Come and watch this bonus session. And then after that, watch this one. This gets into a little bit advanced Figma. And of course, the actual stuff, cohort may we'll talk about. Right? This is your actual cohort journey. But before that, these are the things I would suggest. All right. Makes sense, guys? Somebody should make a. Definitely check that out. Definitely check those videos out. And ping me if you liked it. Yeah. Varun says, nice question, Varun. Do you fear AI? No, I don't. There's nothing to fear. Because if we're fucked. Right? TK. What if you're not fucked? And good for everybody. Good for the people who use AI. But the people who use AI make things better for the people who don't use AI, right? By making new stuff with it. And if we're fucked, anyway, we're all fucked. What I'm scared of, my fear, is not AI. My fear is that this is a little personal. No, there was no need to go this deep. My fear is whether things go good or bad. I don't do the right thing. That's the fear. Right? And of course, every single day we work to do the right thing. But what I mean by that is, if we are fucked, I want to have the courage to face that. I want to have the courage to face that and figure out the best case scenario, even if we are fucked. Who cares? Life is all about figuring shit out, right? Certainty तो वैसे भी कभी नहीं थी. Any one of us can face death. There is no certainty in life. The best you can hope for is being prepared to take on anything, right? So what I fear is not being able to do that. And if things are not fucked, right? Things get difficult, but it's not fucked. I would figure it out, guys. AI is just another thing, right? There was a time in my life where I knew zero about design, but now I figured it out. It wasn't easy. It took 10 years, a lot of effort. With AI, I feel I'll just pretty much try to do that same thing, right? If it's that important, I will dedicate myself to it. If it's not that important, I'll just continue doing what I was doing before. Make sense, guys? Make sense? Batao? समझ में आया? Do you guys get that? I didn't have to go that deep, death and all, but really, guys, नहीं होना चाहिए डर. होता है. Actually, no. Let me not say that. नहीं होना चाहिए डर. That's not the right thing. होना चाहिए डर. Because fear shows you that the stakes are real. If it was a fake thing, you would not be, most likely, you would not be fearful of it. The fear shows you that there's something to fear. But courage honi chahiye. You should have the courage to face it and not let the fear paralyze you. I think that's what's more important. Yeah. Andy says, "Can I do UI UX with 3D?" You can, bro. No issue at all. It just you need to find the time to do it, right? As a designer, the one of the best parts about being a designer is there's so much to do. And so it depends, right? So to give you my example, I in my first 2 years, I didn't really think about 3D and all this, right? I was like, I need to master Photoshop. Because back then, this is in 2013, 2013, 2014, Photoshop was the main thing. So I didn't focus too much on 3D stuff. बाद में I was like, हाँ 3D सीख लेते हैं. So I did a little bit here and there, but मजा नहीं आया. I didn't like 3D. Like Blender, I don't enjoy it. Blender, to me, it kind of sucks. Like at the same time, I'm not gonna not do anything 3D, right? So the 3D stuff that you see, हमारी website पे, the 3D stuff that you see here. So let's see this stuff. I don't make it myself, but I have really good designers that I work with and they make it, right? So I have now moved to a more team based approach. I'm not going to try to learn every single skill, but if that skill is important to me, I'll try to find how my team can have that skill. So, Andy, my suggestion to you, if you have the time, go for it. Typically, though, both of these are very difficult things. So, if you're new to both, pick one, bro. Pick one. एक चीज अच्छे से कर लो. That will help you do the second thing best. अगर दोनों चीजें आधी आधी कर दी, there's no point, right? You've not made any progress. एक चीज कर लो अच्छे से. You always have the opportunity to do more. I know designers who are 5 years of experience and they're learning 3D now. Why? Because it's just a creative outlet for them. They're like, I know how to do websites. My websites will look better if I knew 3D. सीख लेते हैं. Let's do it. It's upskilling, right? So do it both, but it's difficult doing both at the same time. I can definitely say that. Yeah. What do you think? Which year will be the last? Whoa. What do you think? Oh, which year will be the last for newcomers to enter UX before it's getting over? Or it isn't anything like that? Over तो नहीं हो सकता. Good question existentially. Over तो नहीं हो सकता, and I'll tell you why. Because 2024 we have Spatial coming out. Spatial Pro. Right? So Spatial की बात हो रही है तो when Spatial comes out, you know we're going to need more apps, right? Because Apple is definitely going to sell those devices. So for making Spatial apps, of course, the people who are already designers, a lot of them will say, nahi, Spatial, I don't want to do it, right? So those people are not in the running. But there'll be a lot of new designers who kind of take that on. So the end is not near. End is not near. And you know what, Abhiux, if the end was near, I would be very, very paranoid, right? Like I'm a calm person, but I can be paranoid when it comes to stuff, right? And that paranoia sometimes pushes me to take action. It's not getting over though. In fact, I would say um, every year is the best year. It's just you have to be ready for it. If you're not ready for it, no year is a good year. If you're not ready to commit to it, no year is a good year. If it's going to be one of the 20 things that you're learning, no year is a good year because you're not going to figure it out. But if you like it so much that you're willing to just focus on it and just do it, and you're willing to say no to a bunch of other things just so you can do this, that increases your chances that you make it. It's not going away though. That's good. Khushi says, will the journey be easy? No, it won't be easy, but it's going to be fun. It's definitely not going to be boring at all. Um, it's not going to be boring. It's also not going to be like, अरे class है आज और कुछ नहीं कर सकते मतलब not going to be that. It's going to be one of the top things you look forward to every single week for the next 16 weeks. I'm hyping it up a little bit, but it's true. It's true, right? You ask people, it's a very enjoyable journey. But I will say this, Khushi, one problem, right, that I have seen, some of us, or let's say some members in the past, people in the beginning, like, let me say this, it'll be easy if you just dedicate yourself to it. It'll be difficult if everything else in your life has a hold on you and you are not able to get time to study, right? That's difficult. What's also difficult is when you're supposed to be practicing design, you are sitting and thinking about kya hoga mera kya hoga, what happens after AI से, right? That is difficult because now this future में ये जो चीजें हो या ना हो, इस तरफ जाए या उस तरफ जाए, like that is preventing you from today doing the practice, right? So that's difficult. I think a lot of people have this pressure कि bro cohort के बाद कुछ ना कुछ तो फाड़ना है, and bro फाड़ लेंगे, all good, that's what the experience is made for. But don't give yourself stress in the present for something that might or might not happen in the future, right? Whether it goes good or whether it goes bad, you will figure it out. That's what's important, right? And the cohort, yeah, let's say somebody who did not get a job after the cohort, it hurts, it stings a little bit, but then expectation be ye hai ki theek hai, I'm in a better position than I was before, and I still have the community, I still have all these sessions. It's never too late. That's the thing, right? Maybe too deep of an answer. It's not going to be easy, especially if you have a lot of stuff going on in your life and you have to mushkil se make time. That's the hardest thing. If you have to mushkil se make time, maybe you don't join this cohort. Maybe join the one after that. Yeah. Mm. From your past experience, do developers hate designers? Guys, I'll tell you this, okay? Backend developers don't care about designers. Let me be clear. Backend developers interact with front end developers. Front end developers interact with designers. So backend developers are one layer separated. So most backend developers don't care. They don't hate. They pretty much don't care in the sense that you might be friends with them, but they're like your work affects mine, but it affects front end guy के साथ मेरी ज़्यादा relationship रहेगी, right? That's the thing. Front end developers, do they hate designers? No, they don't. Because front end लोगों को भी पता है कि अगर designers नहीं होते, my work, I can do the best code, but it'll look like shit. I'm telling you guys in a funny way, but it's true. Like my own example, when I joined a design team, um, the developers initially were like, bro, this person is coming here and they're telling us to change this. मतलब हम अपने तरीके से करते थे. Now this person is coming and saying you should do this, you should do this. But those developers, the front end, they immediately realize, oh bro, it looks better. And so that's one of the reasons why, as a designer, how it looks is actually important. It's not the only thing that's important, but it's quite important. And front end developers, if you're trying to make a relationship with your front end developer, I think that's what's important. And the relationship should be on this mutual understanding कि bro, ये देखो, okay? You are a front end guy. You want your work to look good. I will make your work look good. You can write the best code, but if it looks bad, log dekhenge, they're not going to look at the code. So as a front end dev, this is the mutual understanding. As a front end dev, it's good if you have designers. As a designer, कुछ भी बना दूं, but अगर front end dev ठीक से नहीं करें, तो my work is not going to look good. Front end devs और designers are very dependent on each other. और ये hate तब आता है जब one of them thinks they are not dependent on the other, right? Or one of them thinks that the other is the enemy. It's not. You guys are the same team. डिजाइन बनेगा, फ्रंट एंड बनेगा, बैक एंड बनेगा, सब कनेक्ट होगा एंड देन यूजर को जाएगा. और यूजर को नहीं पता किसने क्या किया है. यूजर को ये पता है कि मैं फोन पे व्हाट्स द ऐप चलता है, काम होता है, फूड आ जाता है. दैट्स इट. राइट? सो टेक्निकली वी ऑल हैव टू डू दिस टुगेदर टू बिल्ड प्रोडक्ट्स दैट यूजर्स कैन इवेंचुअली यूज. तो हेट समझ तो सकता हूँ, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई इट हैपेंस, but it's not the good place to be, right? There's no reason to hate them. You guys are very linked. You are in the same boat. Bro splitting facts. Thank you. Do you guys teach Framer? No, bro, unfortunately we don't. But then the reason why is the tutorials are just really good. We've observed people who want to learn Framer, it takes them one weekend to learn Framers, right? So we don't teach it, but a lot of people use Framer in our cohorts to make a portfolio after the cohort is over. Personally, I actually don't use Framer. Personal agar main bataun, I use Webflow for my projects. But we don't teach Framer because not everybody needs it, right? So that's one thing. But it's very easy to learn by yourself. So that's why we don't really do it. How to get the most out of the cohort? Attend every single session. Don't miss a single session, guys. Guys, up pata hoga. Let's say you're going for coaching, JE coaching or something like that. You miss 2 sessions. What happens after that? Third session, you come back and you feel like you're on a different planet. Like, क्या बात हो रही है यहाँ पे? Right? It happened to me, by the way. When I was in JE coaching, it's like 2010 की बात है. I missed 2 sessions एक बार. And for the rest of the year, I was behind. मतलब I quit the coaching बाद में. Jokes aside, guys, how to get the most out of it? Attend every single session. Give your best to every single assignment. Those are the 2 most important things. The third thing I'll say is right now the time that you have, watch the Figma tutorials. Check out the world's shortest Figma course. Just look that up on YouTube. World's shortest Figma UI/UX design course. Look that up on YouTube. There's these 7-minute info dump that'll set you up. Do that, bro. Rakesh says, huh? What? Heard some companies have boycotted 10K cohort. Why is that? Quality degrading? No, Rakesh. I mean, I understand you wanna see some beef and all this, but this is not true. In the end, for companies, they want to hire the best person. And so wherever they're from, it depends. And of course, 10K people get rejected as well. Right? But I'm not, in the end, I'm not promising anything superhuman to you guys. All of us go through rejections. Companies, yeah, they reject. Interview mein nahi, you're not a good fit for us. They're not boycotting 10K designers. In the end, companies have to do what's right for them. Right? So it depends on the individual. Rejection is a part of the process. I'm not even saying ki if you join 10K, you will never be rejected. Hoga rejection, bro. Boycott तो नहीं हुआ है. इतनी serious बात नहीं है, bro. And you know, people, I can tell you this, startups में, tech में, ideological ऐसी बातें Twitter पे होती हैं. Really. Right? Company में, everybody's focused on, bro, पैसे बनाने हैं. Funding खत्म हो जाएगी. Next round कब आएगा? Like, everybody's focused on their game. Right? ऐसी society status वाली games cancelling ये सब Twitter पे ज़्यादा होती हैं. It's not a thing. Is the quality degrading? No, it's not. Yeah. And there will always be, right? In every cohort, there is the bottom of the cohort, right? Naturally, that's the power law. There will be people who are at the bottom of the cohort who did not attend or were not able to make the most out of it. Head of designers said they don't want to hire. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. But yeah. In the end, guys, if you're good, right, all doors are open for you. So thanks for sharing, by the way, Rakesh. But I'm not saying you are beefing. I'm saying ये beef वाली बातें Twitter, YouTube पे होती हैं, right? There's no real boycott as such. Yeah. Guys, दो घंटे होने वाले हैं. It's 1 hour 40. Checking out कुछ cover नहीं किया हमने इस session में. And guys, Rakesh, here's the thing, right? Boycott की बात ये होती है. The reason companies don't want to hire anybody, 10K or otherwise, is because they were not a good fit. Not a good fit, right? So that's the main thing. Of course, not everybody is a good fit for everything. But here's what's important, right? Every single 10K designers members, like I'm talking past and future, they have access to me. I'm here talking to you guys 1.5 hours. We've got that entire network. The point is, even if you're not able to figure it out, even if you get rejections, we have that support system that keeps you going, right? So it's just a time scale thing. You will figure it out. And so this is not true at all. And I mean, the reason I talk about this is because लोग पूछते नहीं है ना ऐसे questions. They're like a little polite. And so now that you asked, I want to talk about it. Another reason is a lot of companies don't actually hire early stage talent, right? So if there is somebody who's saying boycott word chodo, but if there is a head of design who's saying we won't hire, usually it's because they don't want new people. They don't want to hire freshers, right? So for example, like Unacademy, right? I was at Unacademy. मुझे पता है right now the Unacademy team does not really have too many freshers. They typically do not hire freshers. So 10K designers is not a good fit for them in most cases. But at the same time, the advantage is that now the cohort 1 people, right? Like past folks, the cohort 1 people are now senior product designers. Cohort 1 and 2 people are now senior product designers because it's been 3+ years. And so those people are also in the hiring pool. So, yeah. Guys, I think I'll wrap up in a bit, okay? I want to eat something. I've not had too much food today. You want a podcast with Pixel ke pakode wale bhai, if you remember? Guys, people think I have a beef with... I don't have a beef with anyone, okay? Pixel ke pakode, kuch nahi, bro. And to give the context to everyone, yeah, there was a time when I made a very critical post of Cred. But ऐसी तो कुछ beef नहीं है. We have mentors from Cred as well. Podcast, yeah, हो सकता है. We'll try sometime. Do you check on these heavy debates on UX from foreigners that are design leaders, been here for 10+ years? They talk a lot about what's wrong in UX and how many companies are doing it wrong. Good question. Personally, I don't, because वहाँ का US का जो environment है, it's very different from the Indian environment, right? So most discussions in the US on UX, they're talking about systemic issues. They're not talking about UX. They're saying कि companies नहीं करते, politically ये हो गया है, wokeism, all this. It's usually that kind of stuff. So, and a weird thing to say, but I do feel like American folks are way more muffard. Like they'll tell you anything, right? In India, we are a little bit more polite. Like हम offend करने वाली चीजें usually नहीं बताएंगे. At least, okay. Point is, in the US, people are way more vocal. So personally, I stay away from it. Every once in a while, if there's value, maybe I'll come across it, but not really. Because in the end, I'm not in the US. Neither are you. So a lot of their issues are not our issues. So why should we be burdened by issues that are real to them, but pretty much imaginary to us? Right? That's how I think about it. ठीक है guys, हो गया. I think we'll wrap up now. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining. Um, let's get into this more now. Thanks a lot for joining, guys. This has been really fun. Um, I'll see you all in another episode soon. I am now just gonna go eat something. Definitely gonna be snowing outside. But I'll see you guys in another session. I don't know when the next live stream. I'll try to see if I can do another live stream on Friday, which is next week. But if not, this is probably the last stream of this year. See you all in Jan, and bye bye.